What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece, not a One Piece video, no, this is a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. Today we're taking on the brand new Red Zone stage, Goku edition, up against the Majin Buu Saga. The main reason why I selected this stage for the video was because there is a mission tied to this one, where you have to run a full team of Majin Buu Saga category characters up against the Majin Buu Saga category stage, which is exactly what we're doing here. And of course, because we are doing that, like, no joke, we're just going to use Gotenks as our leader because he is a flat 200% leader to the Majin Buu Saga. And you do see I got kind of stuffed up here on turn 1. I just could not get any ki. That's one of the things that Yakon does on this stage, where he gives all of your allies -3 ki. So it means that it is a little bit more difficult to reach those thresholds for super attacks, ultra super attacks, you know the deal. So yeah, I didn't really get like a great start here. As you can see that, you know, Vegito took a ton of damage. Of course, he's not really meant to tank super attacks. Got a little unlucky. The rotations were kind of bad as well. Like, we started off with a bad first rotation, so things not really starting off too strong. And I did end up using an item here on the second turn because we took way too much damage there. We do run the STR, Goku and Vegeta. I know that they're not that good, but I mean, my Majin Buu Saga category was kind of mid. I mean, I was actually contemplating using Buhan on the team, even though he doesn't have like the best synergy in terms of links with the squads. But I just thought, you know, we'll go ahead and use this guy anyway, because hey, if we do get the fusion, if we get the Potara fusion, then that strength Vegeta is actually not terrible. Like, in the Goku and Vegeta form, they can be caught out for sure, but when they do fuse into Vegito, things go very, very well. So see, I do use the Princess Snake to get a little bit of health back, because I was a little worried. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't, you know, taking too much damage here. And of course, on this second rotation, we've got a lot more better characters here. Of course, we've got the 2 Gotenks, we've got the Goku, so things work out pretty well. I mean, it's no lie. I've mentioned it in a few of the Dokkan videos now, but I mean, this Gotenks character is just so cool. I'm so happy that I ended up getting this guy when he came out. He's just such a fun character to use. If you ever get the chance to get this guy, I say he's worth it. I mean, I personally would rate this guy within the top 5 best units in the game, personally. I mean, hey, look, it is what it is. It's just my subjective opinion. It is what it is, but I think this character is very, very good. I think a lot of people may be underrating him. I've seen some people, you know, say that he gets overshadowed or by a lot of the more recent characters, like Goku, for example. I think that this guy's better than Super Saiyan 4 Goku from the 10th anniversary. Fight me on that one, but I just think Gotenks is just kind of better. Look, it is what it is. I think he's definitely better defensively, that's for sure, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about this this battle. One thing other to talk about Yakon, he does also state that he gets 30% attack increase with each Ki Blast super attack that he receives up to 90%. So he will eventually stack up to be quite formidable, but he doesn't have that much HP. He's got 70 million, so nothing too crazy. This is a multiple stage event. It is a 4-stage event, so it actually does take quite a while to get through this one. And the AGL Vegeta, who recently received his Super Extreme Z Awaken, I think this guy is actually pretty solid as well. Obviously, he did take quite a lot of damage on the first turn of the video, but hey, look, he's not meant to tank super attacks. Anything except super attacks, this guy is pretty well built against that. Now, another character that I think is kind of interesting to talk about is this STR family Kamehameha Gohan from the Broly movie. Like, yeah, he has a lot of good things going for him, but the thing is, he can get caught out so bad. I mean, like, if it's literally like turn 1 of a stage, he can get super caught out, and he really needs a little bit of time to build up. And here we get the entrance animation of Vegeta showing up. And look, the thing is as well, is I wanted to really make sure that I got through this without having to use like a lot of items. Obviously, we had to use one on turn 2, which was obviously not ideal. But we end up switching to Vegeta, and I believe we basically stay as Vegeta for essentially the whole run until at the end of the fight we actually get to fuse into Vegeta, of course. So the good thing about the Vegeta is, unlike Goku, this guy is more defensively focused, where Goku, he stacks attack every time he super attacks, and It obviously is not a terrible build, and it works very well in slot 2, slot 3, but Goku in slot 1 definitely can get caught out, whereas Vegeta, especially after a couple of super attacks, like, this guy is just going to be tanking everything. In slot 1, he guards, he stacks defense with both super attacks, he gets a lot of super attacks in as well, so he is going to be very, very well equipped in terms of defense, so that's very, very good. But as you can see now, we have made it to the second stage. So after you get rid of Yakon, you have to deal with Majin Vegeta being an extreme AGL enemy. This guy has 90 million HP, and he has an effect that says that if there's a character on your team named Goku, then the enemy Majin Vegeta will have a 50% increase to his attack and defense. So that can definitely be an issue too, especially if you are trying to complete the Majin Buu Saga category mission. I mean, there's a lot of good Gokus in the Majin Buu Saga category, so it's going to be hard to get through that, but hey, it's not too bad. I mean, a 50% attack and defense increase is nothing that crazy anyway. He does hit relatively hard. His super attack will do 980,000, so it's actually really not that bad. Like, yeah, the first two stages are kind of, you know, kind of mid. You know, there's nothing really too crazy to worry about. It's just all about getting through it. And of course, Gotenks doing his double super attack, getting that 24 key, guaranteed critical hits. You absolutely love to see it. I guess kind of mentioning just before, we talked about the family Kamehameha Gohan. I really do like the unit. I think he is very, very cool. I was lucky enough to pull a bunch of dupes from the 10th anniversary part 1, so that definitely helps out in terms of using him in content. But his active skill obviously is a big draw to him. Or should I say the standby skill, and the standby skill is very, very good, you know, in terms of defense, especially if you do have, you know, the full super allies, because that was one thing I kind of forgot about, is that if you actually end up having a character on your team, on that rotation with Gohan, that is not a super class character, then he actually loses a lot of his damage reduction, so be careful about that, especially if you're using this kind of team with the, like, hypothetically, if you're using a team with the new 10th anniversary Vegito, because Broly does fit on that team, so does family Kamehameha Gohan, so you could be in a situation where you could use the standby skill of Gohan, but yet you have Broly on the rotation, and it kind of screws up his damage reduction. You can actually take a lot of damage from that. Be very cautious of that, because I was doing another run of another piece of content, I can't remember what it was, and I kind of forgot the fact that you needed to have all super allies to get that massive damage reduction, and yeah, let's say things didn't go well in that scenario, so be very cautious about that. But it's just the fact that Gohan needs a little bit of time to build up for him to actually be pretty potent, so I don't know if I would really rank Gohan in the top 10 at this point. I mean, he could probably drop out, honestly, all things considered. Like, he's definitely not a terrible unit, but I mean, the characters we have are just incredibly powerful, right? So it is what it is. So we finally move on to the third stage of this event, which is against Majin Buu. With his super attack, he does 2.1 million damage, so definitely a big step up from the previous stage. He has 120 million HP as well, so again, a bit more of a step up. And his main gimmick is that he will change key spheres into sweets. So that can definitely screw up your key rotations, making sure to get the right key for characters so that they can hit their ultra super attacks, or key requirements for their kits. Like, for example, like in this team, we want Gotenks to reach 24 key to make sure he gets the guaranteed crit. And, you know, that whole key placement can definitely screw things up. There aren't really a lot of gimmicks in Dokkan Battle that I find kind of frustrating. I think probably the one that I find the most frustrating is like character locking, like switch locking. I think that's really annoying, because that could, like, screwing up your rotations can legit be like a run ender. Putting a very exposed character in slot 1 is just asking to die. You know, things can definitely go a little bit awry when characters are locked in certain positions, or one of your big damage dealers being locked into slot 3, and then, like, you can't see them for a few turns. That can definitely screw things up as well. So yeah, that's probably the one gimmick in Dokkan Battle that I hate the most. A lot of the other gimmicks I think are relatively okay, like the whole key thing with the sweets, like what Majin Buu does. Yeah, it can definitely be annoying, but like, you can work around it. You can still kind of get things done. You know, some characters that need to hit 18 key for their ultra super attack, yes, it can kind of screw characters up in that fashion. But like, I would rather have that issue to deal with than having a character locked in slot 1 that isn't really good to be in slot 1, you know what I mean? And another thing, we're using this Goku here, this Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who relatively recently got his EZA. He's actually pretty good. I'm actually pretty surprised at this guy. He's pretty good. I do have the Majin Vegeta as well. I haven't really used Majin Vegeta all that much, but I thought that this Goku would be a pretty good fit in this scenario here. Of course, he has the ability to dodge, which is nice, and a lot of super attacks. He can be super effective against all types. Just a pretty solid unit to use, man. Just really, really good. So yeah, that's what it is, man. It is what it is. So we do have the other red zone stages in the Goku and the Vegeta edition. The Vegeta edition is a little bit more interesting, where you have to run a full team of exploding rage characters. I'll have to look at my character box, but I'm pretty certain I'm going to have a bit of an issue with that one. Might have to run kind of like a Broly team or something. I'm not 100% certain in terms of what I'm going to run for that. That could be a bit of a problem. Exploding rage is not a category I have a lot of characters for. So we'll see. If I end up getting a run done for that, I'll give you guys a video for it. But yeah, I'd say don't expect it. But you know, if it happens, just know that I was able to do it. If you don't see it, yeah, I may have to dodge that one. It is what it is, you know. Gotenks coming in clutch for this specific situation right here, because Majin Buu's super attack is a Ki Blast super, which Gotenks does have the ability to counter. And also, of course, if he does have that 24 key, it's going to be a crit counter as well, which is even better. Speaking of counters, Super Vegeta arrives, and of course, he does have a relatively high chance to get those crit counters. He doesn't get one there, unfortunately, so, you know, it is what it is. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is, man. So, overall, I do think that the 10th anniversary so far for Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle has been pretty successful. I would say that in part 1 of the celebration, there wasn't really a lot of content to go through. Of course, if you're a returning player or a new player, obviously there's basically infinite content to go through. But, you know, if you're an established player coming into this anniversary, you know, you've been waiting for a long time, there really wasn't that much going on, I feel like. But now that part 2 is hit, like, there's definitely like a big jump in terms of the amount of content that's available. At least that, personally speaking, I definitely think that there's been a major jump. Part 2, in terms of quality wise, feels a little bit better. We'll have to wait and see what the banners are like and what the characters are like. And of course, when we get the details of the characters for part 2, I'll definitely bring you guys a dedicated video for them, because I'm super excited. Like, Gogeta is my favorite of the fusions, so I mean, I'm excited to try him. And of course, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who I'm also a relatively big fan of. I'm really pumped to see what he's all about. And then, like, Frieza and Goku is kind of like the wild card, because, you know, we had Vegeta in part 1 from the Universal Survival Saga, and I mean, to be quite frank, he's not really at the level of Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the Goku Vegeta into Vegeta were in part 1. So I wonder if Frieza and Goku are going to have some type of gimmick, some type of ability that is going to truly enhance what the Evolution Blue Vegeta does from part 1 of the celebration, because it definitely feels like half-baked. I feel like he feels like he was designed with something else in mind. It's just kind of weird though, because the Vegeta doesn't really have anything special going for him. I mean, the only special thing he has is he does have an entrance animation, but he doesn't have an active skill. He doesn't have a standby. I mean, he has a unit super attack, I guess, is kind of cool, I guess, but like, I mean, especially compared to Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku into Super Saiyan 4 with the Giant Ape mechanic, and then transforming into Super Saiyan 4, like, that's insane. And then Vegito, obviously, with the tag switching. So having those two characters come out alongside Vegeta, it just feels like, you know, he was like the forgotten child. They forgot to really give him some abilities, man. Very, very strange. But hey, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with this other, you know, half of the celebration. And it's kind of weird because it is a standalone Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So I'm not really expecting him to have anything crazy. I mean, maybe he has a standby skill where he charges up his Kamehameha, potentially. Maybe it's just a, you know, maybe it's just an active skill, and he performs it whenever he needs it. I'm not really too sure what they could do with him. But the fact that the other two characters are tag switching is a big deal. So that's going to give them that new mechanic, hopefully some new abilities. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But definitely looking forward to seeing what they have in store for those units. Now, as for this final stage of this fight, we're up against the Kid Buu. He has 170 million HP, and his super attack does 1.83 million damage. So again, he actually does a little bit less damage than Majin Buu from the previous stage. So that's kind of interesting to note. But he does have a slightly more damage reduction, slightly more defense, and slightly more HP to worry about. The other thing about Kid Buu is that when he performs his super attack, the character that he hits will be sealed. So you saw that he performed the super attack in slot 1, and in Gotenks unfortunately could not perform his super attack. So it's a pretty harsh scenario that we find ourselves in. And you just saw in that little instance there, Vegito's super attack was negated. He negates damage from unarmed super attacks, which of course in this scenario was Vegito. However, he is still able to get his counters off, so that's going to be the main source of damage for Vegito this time around. Unfortunately, you know, Vegito not being able to do damage, but it's not the end of the world, really, because the other characters are going to be able to pick up the slack. And of course, this is the time that I've been waiting for. This has been a relatively long battle, but at this point, like, this is what I've been saving Vegito for. So when Vegito comes back around, that is when we're going to be transforming and trying to be doing as much damage as we possibly can. You know, that because you got to be careful when you activate the Potara fusion with Goku and Vegeta, because the Potara fusion only lasts for 2 rotations. So you transform him into Vegito, he gets it for that turn, he'll come back in the next rotation, and then that's it. So you only get him for 2 full rotations, right? So you do have to be very careful in terms of where you actually activate it. And of course, when you do activate the Potara fusion, like we're seeing here, because, oh dude, this is so sick. You get access to his active skill, and of course, when you transform and get that active skill off, it's just like the most potent damage-dealing turn. Like, it's so good. Not in terms of offense and defense. Like, offense and defensively wise, this turn, when you activate Vegito's active skill, it's so good. And look, the fact is my Vegito is only at 55%. If this had like any more investments, I'm pretty sure we would have killed in this one turn. We got very close to killing, but we fell a little bit short. But either way, I love this animation of this active skill. It's so clean, dude. It's so good. A lot of people had a little bit of a tinfoil hat theory that his Kamehameha super attack was actually meant to be his 12 key, and then this was supposed to be his 18 key super attack. But then they ended up switching it. Look, again, you know, people in Dokkan Battle community have weird theories and weird discussions. I don't know if that holds any truth to it, any weight to it, but hey, if that is true, then that's kind of interesting. But either way, that's really basically all there is. Vegito is going to be doing a ton of damage here on this turn. We just fall short, and then we get the kill on the final turn moving forward. So that is going to wrap it up for me, though. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun to use this team. Vegito is just, whenever you get the ability to transform and use the active skill, it's always a good time when you use Vegito. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
To defeat you!